All right, guys. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today's lesson is going to be about demand. Okay, now some of you guys may have heard of supply and demand. This is the cornerstone of economics. Okay, this is the foundation. This is what a lot of stuff is based off of. And if you don't remember anything else about economics, please remember supply and demand. This stuff is important. And again, once you know this and you have a good grasp on what it is, everything else will be pretty easy for you to understand the concept and see how this works because again, you understand what supply and demand is and how it applies to economics. Okay? Now, the objective today, we're going to analyze what demand is in economic terms. We're examining the law of demand. And lastly, we're going to create an argument if it's true that you lose interest in material things as time goes on. Okay. So here is your warm up picture. The question is basically asking you to explain why is this kid's business going to be successful? So I had a couple of students in class who were like, I don't get this. Look what they're selling. When is typically the time to sell that? Ask yourself that and then answer that question to yourself. And that should help you answer this question. Okay. So, again, explain. Don't put, I see two kids, this and that. No, no, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you to explain why isn't their business going to be successful? Why is it going to make a profit? Why is it going to make money? Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay. So pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. So, demand. It's the desire, ability, and willingness to buy a product or service. Okay. You need those three things in order for something to be a demand. Now, uh, let's say you were like, oh, I want a Ferrari. Okay. Do you have the desire for it? Absolutely, right? You want it. Do you have the ability? Meaning, do you have the money for it? No, you don't. And because you don't, this this doesn't become a demand, it becomes a want. So wanting something doesn't really count as a demand until you have those three things checked off. So, like a great example would be let's say you find a jacket of your favorite sports team, right? Let's say it costs $100. You have $150. So, do you have the desire for the jacket? Do you want it? Yeah. Do you have the ability? Do you have the money for it? Yeah, you do. Now, this is a key part. This is where a lot of people um, have trouble with when it comes to buying stuff. Do you have the willingness to separate yourself from that money to buy that? Now, some people have no problem. They're just like, yeah, I have $100. I have 150 total. I'll spend $100 on it. I'll still have $50. But then there are some people who go, oh man, when am I gonna get paid again? Another 2 weeks? $50? I don't think I can last 2 weeks with just $50. I better wait, hold on, save it, till later, just in case something else comes up, whatever. So again, their willingness to separate from that money is preventing them from getting that jacket. So, okay, but do they have the desire and ability? Yes. Okay. Now, basically, for the rest of this class, which is the whole economic class, we're going to be looking at microeconomics. Microeconomics deals with the behaviors and decisions made by small units. So people like you, me, little stores, things like that. Why do we buy this stuff? Okay, we're basically looking at the psyche of things. Why do we buy certain things instead of why do we buy this instead of this? Now again, we're not going to look at big stores like Costco, Walmart, things like that, because they don't buy just a couple thousand things of shoes or whatever. No, they buy millions of it. They get a huge, um, they get a big discount because they're buying so much of the product. That's why they're able to drop the price because they have so much, you know. So that's why we're not looking at those places. But again, you, me, and little stores and things like that. Yeah. Okay. So demand schedule. This is a listing that shows the various quantities demanded of a particular product at all prices that might prevail in the market at a given time. So basically, in the nutshell, what this says is it's a chart that shows like at this price will people buy it and how many, you know. And that's the thing you look at is, so at this high price, are people going to buy it? At this price, a little bit lower, is people going to buy it? And how many and things like that. That's basically what it is. If you're planning on starting a company, this becomes a very, very useful tool. Okay. Now, here's the thing, it's not an exact science. Okay. You can't say, oh, at this price, people will buy, at let's say $10, people are going to buy a bunch of um, pizzas, for $10. They'll buy three pizzas. Here's the thing, some people don't like pizza. So just because it's at $10 doesn't mean everyone's going to buy like three things of pizzas. Some people might say, I'll just have one. I'm good. I really don't like pizza. Or might not, but they might not buy any. Okay, so it's not an exact science, but it is like a tool again to use to say, more or less, more than likely, at this price, this is how much we can say people are more likely going to buy. Okay. Now, you have this part on your page. Since you're either at home or you're near at school with some friends and stuff like that, what I want you to do is simply this, because we did this in class. I asked the class for, how much would you pay for this bag of chips? So the first price I put was like $50. And remember, the thing you have to let them know is it's just a regular bag of chips. The pretty good size, not the little tiny bags, but a good sized bag of chips. There's nothing special about it. It's just regular standard chips. Just the price is high. Okay, because people typically think, oh, because the price is high, it has to be like made of gold or something. No, not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily. Just because the price is high doesn't mean it's special or this and that. No, not at all. Okay, so ask them how much would they buy for that bag of chips at $50. So then at quantity demanded, you would put the number down. Then ask them at $25. How many would they buy? Then the next one, $10. And the next one underneath, $5. And then the last one should be like $2. Now, for every time they give you at $10, I might buy one bag. On quantity demanded, you just put the number, what they say. Excuse me. Um, and then basically you're going to chart it on the side. So where it says P going up and down, that's where you're going to put the price. You're going to put the 50, 25, 10, 5, and near the bottom 2. Okay, you notice I said near the bottom, not all the way at the bottom. Okay. Now, where it says Q, that's quantity. That means how many they said. So that's where you look at the quantity demanded. So there you can go all the way to the end where the P and the Q meet. That's 0. So you can put the 0 there. And then however many they said 1, scoot over a little bit, put 1. And then let's say if they said 3 or 5, then move over, put in a little number 5. And for the last one they said 10, then put 10 at the far end. And then draw the graph. Put the points and then draw the graph. Okay? That's basically it for this part. Now, again, you need to get this done because this is part of this worksheet. Now, again, we did this in class. For those of you guys who were in class, that's what we did. Pretty easy. But since you're watching this video, meaning you weren't in class, so you have to now find this information for yourself. And that means asking people. So again, if you're home, Ask somebody in your family, mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever. Just ask them at $50, how much of these, how many bags of these chips would you buy? Okay, and just keep going on the list. Okay, so we're gonna move on in three, two, one. Now, from your chart, you should have seen the very definition of the law of demand, which is the quantity demanded of a good or service varies inversely with its price. Meaning, when the price is high, the demand is low. So when I told you how many bags of chips these people buy for $50, it should be zero. Because if they said, "Oh, I'll buy a bag of chips for $50," tell them I got several bags of chips. I'll sell them, and I want $50 for it. And they better not back out because they said, okay. So yeah, okay. The other thing is, if the price is low, they're gonna want more. It's the way it is. It's just nature. People are gonna want more now the price is really low. So at $2, I mean, whoever you asked should have said something like, "Oh, yeah, I'll buy 5 bags, 10 bags, whatever." Because how long do chips last? Pretty good while, you know. They don't go bad overnight, you know, but they do last. Okay, so that's where the thinking should be. Well, it's going to last for quite a while, so I'll buy more. Now, people say this time and time again. You know, I would buy more of something if the price was lower. You know, I would buy if the price was just a little bit lower. I would have bought more. You know, now same thing goes in reverse. If the price goes high, people go, you know what? If it goes any higher, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that stuff anymore. People say that all the time because again, price is high, demand is low. Price is low, demand is high. Okay. Now again, it's human nature. It really is in our nature to buy things when prices are low. Even things we might not need, people still buy them. Think of it like this too. After Christmas, what do some people do when they go to Walmart, Target, some of that? They buy the Christmas wrapping paper for like 10 cents per roll. You know, how many times are you going to use Christmas wrapping throughout a year? You're not until maybe an emergency where you do it inside out, you know, and have it as a white outside cover type of thing. But typically you use Christmas gift wrap during Christmas. So why spend that money on the gift wrap paper when you have to wait a whole year for it? Because again, it's cheap. That's why people say it, because it's cheap. It's on sale. It's like it's 80% off, 90% off. I mean, might as well just buy a bunch of it and keep it. Because again, that's human nature. Okay. And speaking of human nature, this next part is very human nature. It's called diminishing marginal utility. The definition says it's the extra satisfaction we get from using additional quantities of a product, and then it begins to diminish. Okay, so in layman's terms, basically, it's when you get something that you, oh my god, I can't wait for this. Oh, I love this so much. Oh, I've been wanting this for so long. And as time goes on, that joy, that excitement you had for it starts to die down and die down. Eventually, you don't use it anymore. You toss it away. You know, forget where you put it. Um, this happens. That's how we are as people. Think of it like this, because I had some students tell me a couple years ago, like one kid told me he spent like $300 on things, 300, $400, something like that, on things for uh, uh, Clash of Clans, that little game. Little DLC stuff that he bought, little coins and little perks and stuff like that. And now he's like, I don't even have that game on my phone anymore. I don't play it. Because at first he was, oh man, this game's so amazing, so this game's so great. As time went on, it's kind of like, Okay, this game kind of sucks. It's not as fun anymore. Oh, and look at this game, another Call of Duty game, and that probably took its spot. You know, that happens. So if you don't believe me that this happens, look at a little kid. See what presents they get for Christmas. They're all happy, right? Things like that about it. And then like 2 weeks later, they're not playing with it anymore. They're done with it. It's not the kid's fault. It's this. It's the diminishing marginal utility. They had their fun, their excitement with it, and now that it's there and they see it and things like that, they tend to think, well, okay, it's there, cool. I'm gonna go off and do something else. I'm gonna go play with that box. So instead of playing with that $60 toy, no, 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 I'm gonna go play with that box because that box is amazing. Okay, so again, I have a lot of former students who have kids and they're just like, oh my God, why does my kid do that? It's human nature, guys. It's human nature. All right, so for this question, I want you to reflect, think back, maybe when you were in the fourth, fifth, or sixth grade, somewhere around that time, era. What is something that you really wanted and were so excited for to get, right? So you got it, you were wanting it, and you finally got it. Cool. But now you no longer use. Tell me, what was it and what replaced it? Okay. So think of clothes, games, um, you know, uh, like I said, clothing, games, phones, game consoles, you know, toys, you know, what? What is something that you were just like, oh my God, I can't wait to have this. I can't wait to use this. Oh, I just love it. And as time went on, you got to the point where like you don't even use it anymore. It's just collecting dust or you lost it. So what is it? Okay. So once you replied to that question, you're done with this lesson. So good job. All right. So with that being said, guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.